Hey, Insider, we got a special guest joining us today who recently graduated from our flagship course called LMA. And she'll be sharing with us her honest experience on board this journey, what she liked about it, what perhaps she found a little bit challenging, and everything in between, and what inspired her to actually start on this journey with us. So let's start with the introductory question. What's your name? Where are you currently based? And what do you currently do?
Hello, my name is Jessica Nelson, and I currently reside in North Carolina, USA, actually a little town called Surf City. And my occupation is I am a coach, health coach, life coach, full-time,
Nice.
loving it.
Yeah, so Jessica, just before we went live, we was speaking about how I've been seeing you a lot. Your energy, anytime I see it in the group, it does stand out. And this is a long overdue conversation, one-to-one, let's say. I know though, having read your story, what you posted in our groups, you were going through some, let's say, dark chapters when you were coming across LMA. So do you mind sharing with us, what was you experiencing back then in terms of problems in your life? What sort of impact was that having and things like that?
Yeah, it's funny that you asked that, Tim, because at the time when I first ran across you, I wasn't quite sure exactly what was going on. I have a happy family, a great husband. There was nothing for me to really not be happy about. And I think that at the time when I started, I just didn't have any like inner peace is the word, the only thing I can put around it. Like I'm happy, but I wasn't feeling happy. And I started to kind of non-socialize with people. Like I was a stay-at-home mom at the time when I first met you, and I was just hanging out. That's it.
Right.
That's it. Just hanging out, not quite sure why I was feeling the way I was feeling, but I thought, here I am. I'm going to try this program out. Yeah.
Yeah. So during that time, I know that in your story you mentioned you fell into, let's say, a dark place, uh,
I did.
whereby you're trying to resolve the anxiety, the depression issues, and so forth. Was it because you had, let's say, you had just transitioned into this new chapter of your life, being a stay-at-home mum, or was it something else that happened that made you fall into this place?
Yeah, I think what I did was I lost myself basically.
Mm.
And I I didn't want to believe I was depressed because I didn't feel like I had anything to be depressed about, but I started to go down this path of darkness. And I wanted so bad to be happy. I wanted, and I felt like I was, but it was just I didn't have anything to go for. It was I just did the day to day. And so yeah, the darkness was not a time I'm proud of in my life, but it happened. And I ended up actually going through this darkness of getting in touch with doctors and going on prescription drugs to try to fix this anxiety that I was having and this darkness that I was having, and it was actually making it worse. Mm-hmm.
Right. And how did you eventually come across, I suppose, us? Like, yeah, where did you go to?
Well, I'm an avid YouTube follower with any kind of workout that's out there. So I came across your ad and I was like, who's this? Right. And I started watching it and I was like, wow, this sounds interesting. I've never done self-development before, Tim. Any kind of training I've ever done was, health, exercise, workouts and stuff like that. So I came across, I said, yeah, I'm going to try this. And it was, you had a free class. So
Yes.
I took your free class and it was like you were totally speaking to me. I mean, I could totally feel you. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this. I didn't even second guess it. I just literally signed up for the class, just signed up. And
Right.
at the time I had signed up for other health coaching classes because I finally said, you know what? Enough is enough, Jessica. You need to step out and start doing something.
Yeah.
And so I had signed up for a class, and I caught yours first, and I was like, I'm going to try this. Let's see what this is.
Right. So it's almost in a pivoting point in your life when you came across us. You was looking
Yes.
to change things around. Right. Makes sense. Because I did note that in your story, you mentioned you felt like you was giving more to other people, especially your loved ones, instead of, let's say, yourself. So did you like make a decision around that period that you wanted to really give to yourself? Is that what led to that pivoting point, or?
You know, I felt, because I was taking care of myself health-wise and exercising every day, that was truly enough. And it wasn't until I ran into your program that I realized that I was not gifting myself the time. I mean, I wasn't gifting myself the time to even go get a haircut, any go out with my friends, get a massage, get my hair done. It was taking care of everybody else. And so once I ran across your program, I was like, I had to like put myself in a room just to watch your program, because I wouldn't even sit down and read a book. I wouldn't give myself that space.
Wow. I mean, I appreciate the fact that you trusted us so much at the start, let's say, considering you're totally brand new to, our work and so forth. So you're saying you didn't even have a single doubt. You just kind of just went for it, enrolled in LMA. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it was, Tim. There's something about the way you touch people. It's truly, you speak to us. And that's nothing that I've ever found before. I've ran across so many ads. And once I found that ad, it was just like, I'm doing this. And I got in and started going. And at first, yes, I was a little leery. I was the one who was going to your lives and wouldn't turn my camera on because I didn't want anybody to see me. As a matter of fact, I didn't want to have any friends. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I thought, I'm just going to sit in here and listen. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But you really drew out this part of me that I've been holding back for a really, really long time. And I've seen you do it with so many other people.
Well, I've heard about this as well from a team member, because you spoke to somebody called Toma at the start of this journey. And she said, Jessica was she was very cold, let's say. And I said to her, probably because she was new to our work, but she said, how you are, let's say today, compared to a couple of years ago, it's like night and day. And sometimes we're quick to, let's say, judge somebody by the result that they've got. We forget to not acknowledge their story, let's say. So it's safe to say you're shining. I mean, in different community groups, I mean, everyone knows Jessica, of course, right? So Jessica, you took that leap, right? You joined us on board LMA. If you just could like rewind back time, when you was checking out our content for the first time, considering you're new to our work, what made you believe in LMA eventually? What made you just say, you know what, I'm going to get to the end of this journey?
I think what helped me get to the end of this journey is the community that you put together, Tim. I have never met such an amazing group of people. I don't like to ask for help. I really had no intention of getting involved, but I can say that the community that you have inside there is like no other. And when I started seeing people in there doing things and saying such wonderful things and supporting each other so much, Tim, I was like, this is unbelievable. If they're going to do it, I'm going to do it. Because it was like it's like this accountability system that you have. Everybody wants everybody to succeed. And that's really, really getting involved in that and listening to what you have to say, what you taught us, and getting involved in the community is actually how I completed it. Because before, I don't know, Tim, that I really truly believed I was going to finish anything. And I mean, for me is what I mean. Like I said, I wouldn't finish a book. I wouldn't finish a class. And I thought this class is different.
Right.
It's totally different.
So a couple of years ago, when you was going for LMA for the first time, I was reading in that story you posted in our group that there was let's say, a lot of unfortunate things that happened whilst you're on board LMA. Am I right in saying you experienced a funeral? At the same time, I believe one of your oldest daughter got into a first car accident, totaled her car. There was a lot of things going on during that time, to say the least. So what made you continue to actually show up for yourself, considering you had to, of course, look after your loved ones during that period?
Huh. You know, Tim, every class you showed up. Every Saturday you showed up. Every Sunday you showed up. Everybody else that was in our community, they all had things going on in their life and they showed up. And you all are showing up for us. I'm going to show up for them and also show up for myself. And it was tough. There were times when I really didn't want to do it. I didn't want to show up, but I knew that I needed to do this for me, because there's going to be times in my family's life where they're not going to want to show up either. And I needed to be that reminder for them. And I needed to be that reminder for this community. And also for you are showing up for me. And so I was like, you know, Tim's showing up, I'm showing up.
So you wanted to really lead by example and
lead by example.
Children,
yes.
And so forth. Right.
And you were the example, Tim. Not only that, the people that were in your group were such inspirations, and some of the things that they were going through was nothing compared to what I was going through.
So you started to, of course, not only just check out LMA, you got to the end, right? You did graduate. You've graduated a couple of times, actually.
Yes.
So the first time round, though, Jessica, what sort of benefits did you experience in your life from checking out the LMA method and going for it yourself?
That seems like so long ago, Tim.
Yeah.
I actually started to dream, to say, hey, Jess, what do you want to do? What do you want to do with your life? I thought, well, that's something you say when you graduate from college, right? And in the 6 weeks, things started happening for me. And it wasn't just about showing up for class. It was actually taking the lessons and applying them to your everyday life. And in 6 weeks, I made the decision to do what I've always basically done, and that was to be a health coach. I actually chose that identity and said, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. And within that 6 weeks, I actually got my first client. And that wasn't the plan. I wasn't actually planning to do that. It was just, it happened. And I was like, wow, this is unbelievable.
So it started to help you to really dream, and you began to honor one of the things that you've been thinking about, which is becoming a coach. That's awesome. What other, like in terms of, let's say, the issues you were experiencing before LMA, what other blocks did LMA help you to, break through?
I'm so glad that you asked this. I didn't realize until I was in LMA that I was actually suffering from severe social anxiety. Really, I couldn't even go into the grocery store without feeling anxiety. And I have 4 children, so I went to the grocery store a lot because I eat healthy, so I go a lot. Yeah. And I was having problems even doing that. And so every time I pushed through any of the challenges that you gave, made me do that more. And then by the end of the season, I am literally videoing myself going into the grocery store. And I was like, everybody's going to think I'm crazy. But what I realized is that there's other people that probably feel that way too. And yes, I was feeling anxious. And yes, I was still feeling it, but I was breaking through it. And every time I broke through it, I just realized I don't have anxiety anymore, Tim. I feel it, but I don't have it anymore. That was the biggest thing, honestly, the biggest thing. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And yeah, I didn't personally know, of course, about the social anxiety, but I did know your anxiety related issues. But it's amazing to, because sometimes I also see your result and I forget your story because it's been a while since you've gone through LMA for first time. Because you come across nowadays on video is like fearless, right? You seem like you've just been doing it for ages, basically, in terms of what you're doing, like as a coach and so forth. So and that's really awesome to hear. So what would you say, having now gone through this journey, you know, couple times and so forth, what's made you feel the most happiest of having made this decision back in 2020 to join us on board LMA?
What has made me feel the happiest is that I honestly have a better relationship with my family. I have a better relationship with my friends. I have more friends. I have friends from all over the world now. I believe in myself. I'm helping others do that. And I'm feeling so grateful, Tim, because um, all that you have taught us, me, it works. And I'm going to pay that forward. Seeing you do this, seeing what your community does, that is what I'm going to do with my life.
Love it.
So thank you so much. I'm not normally a person for a loss of words, but that's truly that is what I'm most amazed about.
I appreciate that. Final question, Jess. If you were to give an advice to somebody watching this video and hearing your story and being amazed by it and so forth and resonating with you, what advice would you give to that person who's thinking about maybe giving LMA a try right now?
I would say that we all feel skeptical, but if you're not quite sure how you're feeling, right, you may be not sure why you're feeling a certain way, or you're actually going through a hard time in your life, it is definitely worth any amount of money to work on yourself. And this particular course, LMA, will really, really, really change your life. And it's hard for me to say about being on the fence because I made the decision right away, but making a decision to help yourself is one of the best benefit that you could give your loved ones.